Halima Sadia and her husband Al-Harith, they used to be very poor and suffering from hunger. And they had a son also as well, in a cradle. She used to breastfeed him. So she came among the other ladies to Mecca to pick up whatever children they can, so they can at the end of the term bring them back and get their source of income. All the other ladies, they start picking up different babies, and when they come and they start pick and choose, when they see Prophet Muhammad and they found out that he's an orphan and his mother or grandfather is taking care of him, they would pass. They would leave him. They say, what are we going to do with him? He doesn't have a father. Because as a traditional mother doesn't have the money, and the father would not really care as much like the father. The grandfather will not care as much as the father, because if the father usually takes care of his son and would spend the money and to make sure that really the son in a good shape and in a good position. So as soon as they found out that he's an orphan, he doesn't have a father, the other lady will just pass. So Prophet Muhammad he was left. Nobody picked him to take him. All the ladies, they book and choose one except Halima. So she came and she consulted her husband. She said, look, we could not find one to take with us, and we are desperate. We are in a very poor condition. Let's take this orphan, this yatim, Prophet ﷺ, and perhaps we'll get the barakah, you know what I mean? Feeling sympathy and sorry for the Prophet ﷺ, as he doesn't have a father. Let's take care of him. Perhaps maybe he can barakah as in being generosity and showing the generosity to the Prophet ﷺ, will take him with us. So they came and they asked the mother Amina that we'll take your son. Halima, when she came to Mecca, she was riding a donkey, and a female donkey. When she was coming with the other ladies, she was always behind, having hard time to catch up with the other ladies, as her donkey was very old, and it's a female donkey, so it's not that strong that will race the other ladies and reach to Mecca as quick as the other ladies. So therefore, she was always behind, having hard time trying to push her animal to catch up with other ladies, could not, until they reached Mecca. In the way back, after she took Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after she consulted with her husband and took the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the moment she accepted the responsibility, the barakah started be showering on Halima and the family. How did the barakah started? That first thing is the donkey, the female donkey, the animal, changed the condition. In the way coming to Mecca, she was having hard time to catch up with the other ladies. But going back to her home, she was racing the other ladies, and she was ahead of the other ladies. She was so strong after carrying the Prophet ﷺ and going back. She was very strong. That donkey was very strong. So the other lady was asking, Ya Halima, oh Halima, is this the same donkey that you came with? She said, Wallahi, it is. It's the same donkey, but something is different, something is unique, something is, I cannot explain what happened to my animal. Why? Because all strong, running and racing, and the other ladies could not catch up with her now. However, they reach. In a way, Halima, she was struggling to feed her own son, to breastfeed her own son. Why? Because she was hungry, and when the lady is hungry, she doesn't have the milk to even support her own son. But when she took the Prophet ﷺ, she was having plenty of milk that would feed her son and would feed the Prophet ﷺ, and both of them, they will be completely full. Subhanallah. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showered the barakah on this family. The other thing is, some of the barakat that start happening, that Halima, she had many sheep. And when the Prophet ﷺ was living with them, these sheep, they start multiplying. And they become more. And they become fatter than the other sheep. Usually, when you take the sheep to the field and you feed them well, then they become fat. But if there's no food and they're hungry, then they become skinny. So her sheep, Halima's sheep, they become fat, strong, and they start multiplying. This is the barakah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And during that time, people were surprised. How come Halima's children, Halima's sheep, they become fatter than our sheep? They were surprised. They used to send the sheep with the children out to the field, so they would start telling the children, why don't you take our sheep to make sure that they eat the same products that the Halima's sheep eating? They say, wallahi, they're eating the same thing. The children were saying, wallahi, they're eating the same thing. But we don't know what happened. Why her sheep are becoming stronger and fatter and multiplying more than your sheep? So they were surprised that all this is miracle that's happening. And this situation continued for 2 years. In 2 years, Prophet ﷺ grew, and Halima explained, she said that Prophet ﷺ in 2 years he grew, that he became as if he is 6 years old. In those 2 years, he grew so strong, mashallah, so big, that at 6 years old, if you would look at him, you would think that he's 6 years old. Healthy, physically, also in the same time, he used to speak purely at 2 years old. The tradition after 2 years, that they will take the children back again to their parents, back again to Mecca, and parents decide whether they want to renew the contract again and send him again for another term, or whether they want to keep him, they don't want to send him back again. So some people, they would keep the children in Mecca. They said, that's enough, 2 years is good enough, we'll keep him with us now. And some people, they said, okay, you can take back my son for another couple years. And so on, that's how was the tradition. So when those 2 years terms done, Halima, she took back again Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and she insisted, and she tried to convince his mother, Amina, that to renew and send him back again. She said, no, let me keep him for another, I'm worried about him, you know what I mean? Let me keep him for more term, longer period of time, because in Mecca he might get sick and I'm worried about him. Trying to convince her so badly, because she saw the blessing and the barakah. You know, when you see this, that you really want to keep Muhammad ﷺ with you for as long as you can. So trying to convince his mother, so the mother got convinced and she sent him back again with Halima. The other thing is, Halima, she had an old camel and she was very skinny. Also one of the miracles that happened, that when Prophet ﷺ lived with them, this camel, usually when the camel get old, they become skinny and they dry, they don't have any milk. So when Prophet ﷺ lived with them, this camel became stronger, fatter, and started producing milk again. SubhanAllah, this is the miracle and the barakah of the Prophet ﷺ. When Halima brought the Prophet ﷺ for another term, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he had another sibling from Halima. You know, when someone breastfeed, we call the other sibling is brother and sisters from a different mother that she breastfed the same children, so we call them brothers and sisters. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he had different brothers and sisters from Halima, we call them brothers and sisters, and among them Shayma. We will talk about that inshallah in the halaqa yet to come. So they used to send them out, Prophet ﷺ, him and his sibling, his brother, into the field, into the outside, into the wild. All of a sudden, few months later, then Halima's son came running to his mother, Halima and Al-Harith, and he was so terrified and worried, and he said, "Catch my brother. I'm so worried about him. My brother is the Qurashi." As the Prophet ﷺ, they told to call him the brother from Quraysh. "Catch him, something happened." So they asked him what happened. Then he told them 2 men came and they put him down in the ground, and they're wearing a dress cloth. So Halima and Al-Harith got scared and got so worried. They ran to the Prophet ﷺ. And this incident, Prophet ﷺ spoke about it in the authentic hadith when he was telling the companions that 2 came to me, that they dressed in white, and they opened my chest, they took out my heart, and they brought a bucket out of gold filled with Zamzam water. They took my heart, they put it in there, they washed it, and they took out a little black worm, and they took out and threw it away, and they told the Prophet ﷺ, "This is the portion from Shaitan, so now you have a pure heart." So they cleaned the Prophet ﷺ's heart, and they filled it with wisdom, and they put it back again, and they sewed his chest again, and he opened his chest, the Prophet ﷺ, when he was still in the companions, and he showed them the athar and the marks. So when Halima came and she asked him what happened, and he told her the situation, and she saw the Prophet ﷺ, his face was so worried, so she got scared. So she told her husband, maybe there is a jinn happened, maybe something happened to this young boy. Let's take him back in one piece to his mother. We don't want to get any blamed if anything happened to him. So they took him back to Mecca after a few months, and they told told Amina, "Here's your son in one piece, safe and sound. Thank you very much." He said, come back. What's going on? Few months ago, you were insistent that you want to take him. Now all of a sudden, you don't want to take him. So they said, "No, we're just worried about him. We were worried about the responsibility and so forth." So she insisted that I will not let you go until you tell me the story behind it. Why you want to? So eventually, Halima and her husband, they told her, "This is the situation. This is the incident that took place," and we got scared. Then Amina, she told Halima and her husband, "Are you worried that he'll be affected by the jinn?" They told her yes. She said, "No, wallahi, nothing will happen to this boy, because at the time I was giving birth, I saw a dream that I took him to and made dua that I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from any harm that will happen to you." So she kept him he stayed with his mother at the age of 6 years old. Halima returned back, and at the age of 6, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mother passed away. So inshallah we'll continue in the next halaqah, the next step. Jazakumullah khair, barakallahu feekum.